Hello again YouTube, and welcome back to Just Get a Tesla. Today we're going to talk about charging and how charging works with any EV, but especially if you've got a Tesla, because I think this is the single issue that people who haven't got an EV expend the most thoughts about. How does it work? How much is it going to cost? How do I plan where I'm going to charge? How far will the car go? All of that kind of stuff. Let's get into it. I think the main point that I've got to make here is I'm stood next to my car now. It is actually parked up at the charger, which is sat there, but it's not plugged in. It's got, I don't know, 40% power, maybe, something like that. I honestly can't remember the last time that I charged it. So today is a Wednesday and I charged it at some point last week. That is how concerned I am about when I need to be charging the car up, because this thing's got a big battery. So this is the fundamental thing with an EV like this one. When you're asleep, charge it up. If you're worried about the amount of energy that's going to be available, plug it in. Then you sleep, and then when you wake up again, it's full. It's that simple. You cannot do that with your petrol or diesel car. But here's the thing, I haven't charged this up in a little while because, like I said, the battery is quite full. But if I did need to charge the thing up, I've got plenty of options. And let's just quickly talk about what those are. So I'm sat here at home. Now I've had installed a CubeEV 7 kilowatt charger. So you can buy a variety of different chargers from all kinds of different manufacturers and get it wired in by an electrician. So I've got a nice thick wire that runs actually into my business premises, which people have asked the question, is your house modelled on a prison? No. Part of it used to be a bank, and that's what that is. Anyway, the power is wired into the mains of the bank, comes out here. Sparky did the job, and I have got 7 kilowatt fast charger there for my car. Now I can go and plug that in. I'll do that in a minute. I can also use, I've got a couple of outdoor sockets, so I could use the Tesla granny charger and I could plug into that as well. So sat at home, I've already got a variety of different options as to how to charge the thing up while I'm asleep. And even if you haven't had a proper charging point fitted, whether you don't have the ability because of the kind of house you live in, I don't know, it's a terraced house or you've got an awkward landlord or whatever, chances are there is going to be the ability to be able to plug in on a 3-pin somewhere. So anywhere that you've got access to electricity, you can charge your car up while you're asleep, and that's the point. Charge it up. You don't need to think about it. If you're going short distances, I mean, I haven't charged this for more than a week because I haven't really been very far. I've done 30-mile trips here, 25 there. I don't need to think about it because there's plenty of power in the battery pack still. But if you've got this, that's the thing that you simply do not have if you're driving petrol or diesel. I need to open the car up to be able to unlock it, and then once I do, hidden here with a little push, second time of asking, is the charging flap. Now all I need to do from there is take my charge lead and plug it in, which doesn't take very long. The car comes with a 7.5 meter long charging lead, and you plug it in and you're done. And then that's you done for the day. You've plugged the car in, you go to bed, you come out in the morning, and it's got more charge put into it. But let's just have a look at some of the settings that we've got on this, because what I have got is a thing called scheduled charging. Now a lot of people have things like cheaper overnight electricity tariffs. So I can schedule the car to start charging at whatever time I like. So I usually have mine charging up overnight. And the reason for that is just simply I'm trying to reduce the amount of strain on the electricity grid, because it's actually beneficial to all of us if we do some things overnight. So I let mine charge up overnight, and from 37% as it is now, a 10 in the evening charge will be perfect for me to go somewhere tomorrow. So what Tesla allow you to do as well is to set the amount of charge that you're putting into the battery. So it's got these two things up here. You can see it's got daily and then trip. So daily has got a couple of different levels. The most right hand one of those is 90%, or you can reduce it down to say 80%, which is how I often have mine. You might ask, what is the point in an electric car if you're not charging the thing up all the time, all the way? What is the point in having an electric car if you're not charging the battery fully all the time? Well, this is a Shanghai built Tesla, and it has got a battery chemistry where you can charge the thing up to 100%, no problem. So I can swipe the thing and I can go all the way up to the top. What it doesn't advise that you do is hold the battery fully charged at 100% for very long, because what it will do is it will start to reduce the capabilities of the battery. If you fully charge the thing and fully discharge the thing constantly, that will wear the battery a little bit. It's exactly the same as your mobile phone. So you have these trip elements where you just basically reduce it. So I have mine set on 80%, maybe 90% most of the time, and as I said, I charged it up at some point last week. I honestly can't remember when, but if I hit start charging now, it will override my schedule and power starts going into the car. Now, what I've got on the wall there is a 7 kilowatt charger, and you can see over here it is already quickly ramping up and hitting 7 kilowatts. What that means is that on my battery, which is just over a third full, to hit my charge limit, which is inaccurately set at 80%, hang on, I don't want it on 81, do I? I want it on, there we go, on 80%. So to charge up to 80%, it is going to take 6 hours and 10 minutes. So remember that I said this was ordinarily going to start charging at 10 in the evening. So 10 in the evening plus 6 hours 10 minutes means 4:15 or so in the morning the car has hit my charging limit. Now, I'm not going anywhere at 4:15 in the morning, so that is absolutely fine. Again, the car is adding power while I'm asleep. But that's kind of normal use. That is me using the car, pottering around here and there. And on this channel, we do go on quite a lot of road trips, longer trips, so if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. But when you're doing that, simply set it to a higher level. You can charge this to all the way up to 100% if you're going on a longer trip, and I have done. And that's not a problem, providing that when it gets to 100%, it's not sat there with the that amount of power being held in the battery for a particularly long period of time. But obviously, if you're out and about and you're going on much longer trips, that is where you then need to start thinking about charging as you go. So let's have a look at navigation with supercharging. Navigation, even on long road trips in a Tesla, really is an absolute doddle. So let's say that I want to go quite a long distance. So I'm going to go all the way down to London. It will quite literally sit there and work out which supercharging stops that I need to be able to get there in the fastest time. And what's more, what it's also doing is it's calculating which of the superchargers that you're going to has actually got room on them. So if you're driving along and one of the superchargers is busy, then what it will do is it will reroute you en route, and it will change which superchargers that you're going to. So as an example, down here on the A1, on the east side of the UK, I know that there's obviously chargers at Scotch Corner, there are superchargers at Ferrybridge. Obviously, you've got the charger at Grantham that it wants to pull me to. There is another one down here at Boston, just south of Sandy. So there are different places that it can take you, and it will reroute you dependent on how busy those are. So you don't need to queue if you let the car do its thing. So another point to note about superchargers is the way that it is all integrated into the way that Tesla's ecosystem works. So I go here onto the supercharger at Aviemore. So it's telling me here there's one stall available, and it's telling me what the price per kilowatt hour is at different times of day. Here's the thing. You don't need to worry about payment methods, about tap to pay, about lots of different apps, about registering and keeping them all up. You don't even need to think about, am I going to have a phone signal when I get there to be able to start the app? Is the app going to work? You plug the car in and it starts charging. And then when the computer tells you on the screen to unplug because you can continue, you go and unplug and you drive away. It automatically bills you for the charge that you've taken. So it's telling me here that it's 62 pence a minute at this one for most of the day. So if I was to put 10 kilowatt hours in, it will bill my credit card £6.20. That is already stored on my Tesla account as part of owning a Tesla. So you simply don't need to think about it. It just happens. And that is something that really only works with Tesla. We've seen how the map works and how it will route you to all of the different charging points that you need. So the supercharger network is the bit that is Tesla's absolute trump card, because any other EV that you can buy, you have to use all of the different public charging networks, and there are an awful lot of them, and with all of them you have to do different things to be able to get your charge started. So most of the time you need an app. A lot of the time you need to have input all of your personal details, email, address, card, all of that kind of gubbins. And frankly, a lot of these networks are problematic at best. Let's be generous and say that there's quite a lot of them where you get there and the charger either isn't working at all, or the app won't communicate with it, or the charging speed that you're going to get is significantly less than it should be, which slows you down. Not an issue if you drive a Tesla. So that's why you really should just get a Tesla if you do any kind of longer trips on a regular basis. The supercharger network absolutely smashes all of the other ones out of the park, but you can still use any other charger. It's just that you've got the Tesla advantage of the supercharger network. Supercharging is absolutely easy. Simply pull it out of the holster, press the button on the top, the flap opens, stick it in, and it starts charging. This is a V3 supercharger, so this has got up to 250 kilowatts of power. I got here with 20% or so in the battery, and yeah, it's charging at 212. Nice and clear on the screen exactly how long you need to sit here before you carry on. So you don't need to really think about it. It really couldn't be any clearer on the screen to tell you how long you need to plug in. And of course, being Tesla, you don't even have to have an app registered other than your Tesla account. You don't need to start swiping RFID cards or any of that nonsense. It automatically charges your credit card with the amount to charge. A good option, if you can find one, is a Tesla destination charger. You find these dotted up and down the country at things like hotels, guest houses, some shopping places like this one. And this quite literally is a Tesla wall charger, which is free. So button on the top opens the flap, in goes the charger, and the car starts charging. So that's just clicked behind me, that's going on. Now I go into the car and we can see that the car is starting to charge up. It's not going very quickly though at the moment, although it is starting to ramp now. It's just gone up to 3 kilowatts, 4. I think these go to 11, which is pretty quick. So again, this is a good way to get some power into the car quickly if you are parking up and doing something else. And as always with any kind of Tesla charger, whether it's the granny charger, one of these destination chargers, or a supercharger, there is a button on the top which if you press and hold it, it disconnects it, the flap closes, and then you're ready to go. So while you're out and about and driving, there are lots and lots and lots of places that you can charge your car. So I am here in Banff, and there are actually 2 of these black boxes, each of which has got a charger on each side. So that is 4 of the fast chargers. And then if we walk a little bit further down, you've also got a rapid charger, which has currently got a couple of people both charging at the same time. Now these are run by spin around so you can actually see me because of the sun. These are run by ChargePlace Scotland, which means to make these work, you need two things. First of all, I need to have the cable out the front of the car. Well, mine's in the front because that's where I store it. Don't close your car with one hand, it tells you not to, but frankly you can't film and do it any other way. So what you need to be able to do is to plug your cable in, which I'm going to do now one-handed while I'm still doing this. Now, one end goes in the charge port, the other end goes in the car. You'll apologise for me squinting, but the sun's really bright. It's a gorgeous day. But the other thing that you then need to do is go onto an app, in this case ChargePlace Scotland. Now I am going to go on here and try and get it to find where I am. Okay, I don't know what on earth it's doing there. Let's go back into the app again. So I've got various different charging apps. I don't know why it's doing that. Right, find a charger. See, this is already more faff than it should be. See, I know where I am, and you'd think it would have the chargers already on it, but it appears not to do. It's not actually finding these ones, which is really, 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 really helpful. What on earth is wrong with it? So basically, I need an app, or I need to have an RFID card to make this work. And I'm here on the ChargePlace Scotland app, and it's doing absolutely nothing. See, this is the problem you've got when you are using non-Tesla charging. So I've got here a whole selection. Look, see how many apps I've got? Now, I've had issues with these things before. Mare is an app for charging at some of the hotels that I stay in. I've had that where it wouldn't actually release the cable from the car when I finished. Right, this appears not to be finding any chargers at all, which is a bit of a problem. So in this case, I don't actually need to charge. It's a good job, isn't it? Because it's not going to work at all. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Just Get a Tesla. My car is now plugged in and it'll charge itself overnight while I sleep, which is the whole point. So I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please subscribe, please comment, subscribe, hit the bell icon, all of the usual, and I'll see you very soon here on Just Get a Tesla.